Hi, everyone. I want to go through two examples for the final exam. But before I go through those examples, I just wanted to say a few things about the exam. Give yourself plenty of time. It's going to take a long time to complete it, so allow plenty of time. Read each question very carefully. What exactly is being asked? Because you only get one attempt on the final exam, so be really careful about what the question's asking for. Review from the professor discussion, review the week 7 mini lecture. I give you 3 examples in that mini lecture, and 2 of those examples are going to help you with exam questions. Most of the questions on the exam you can find that are exactly the same or very similar in either some of the homework or the exams. And it could be from anything throughout the course. If there's a couple that don't have anything, but they're really straightforward. And if you just within the question, if you click on that e-text, it'll take you to the e-text. And if you just read through it, you will know how to answer those questions. And there's only a couple of those. So let me go through these. I have 2 examples. So remember to go through the week 7 mini lecture. There's 2 examples there also. But these are 2 more examples. So first, and we do have examples for this, but some of the titles they're using in the T accounts are slightly different. And I just thought, let's just go through an example so everybody understands it, since we only have one attempt. So we're given a partial worksheet for the month of May. And they want us to journalize the closing entries. So the first, there's a number. The first one, which is May 31st, we have to close service revenue. So service revenue, if you look, is right here. So it has a credit balance of 12,500. So to close it, we have to debit service revenue 12,500, credit income summary 12,500. These are our expense accounts we have to close out. Since they normally have a debit balance, we're going to have to credit them. So we're going to credit salaries expense for 2,000, rent expense 1,500, depreciation expense 1,000, interest expense 100. If you add that up, it's 4,600. We're going to debit income summary for 4,600. Next, we need to close the net income. If you check, it's, the 12,500 minus 4,600 is going to be 7,900. We're going to debit income summary for 7,900, credit owner's capital for 7,900, and that's how we close out the net income or loss. I forgot to mention the numbers. The first, closing out the service revenue, is number 1. Closing out the expense accounts is number 2. Closing net income to net income from income summary to owner's capital is number 3. Last one, number 4, is closing owner's drawing. So if we look, owner's drawings is here. It has a debit balance. To close it out, we have to credit it. So we're going to debit owner's capital, credit owner's drawings for that 1,000. Now we're going to go ahead. So that's part A. Part B, we have to post the entries in the order of journal and post in the part. Okay, so we're going to first post our income summary account. A1 was when we closed out our service revenue. That's right here, 12,500. A2, which is right here, is when we debited the income summary to close out our expenses. A3, also a debit to income summary to close out the net income. So if we add this, the total is 12,500, and the total here is 12,500. I believe we had something similar, but I think they were using the word balance. Here they're using the word total. Make sure you use the correct words, the words they want you to use. Next, we have an owner's capital T account. We have A4, where we closed out the drawings for 1,000. Oh, I should tell you this. The balance was 12,000. Where you find the balance is right here. Our owner's capital balance was 12,000. So that was a credit balance of 12,000. Then we closed out drawings for 1,000. A3, should go back and show you that. That's, remember, where we closed the net income to owner's capital. And if you take 12,000 plus 7,900 minus 1,000, you're going to get 18,900. There's also a C question to prepare a post-closing trial balance at May 31st. I didn't give you an example for that. We've got examples from the homework, so you'll find examples. The other thing I forgot to mention at the beginning is you want to make sure, look at all the exam questions. They might be multi-part questions. So make sure you know whether or not it's a multi-part question. If so, make sure you answer all the parts of the question. So don't leave a part unanswered. Be very careful with that. Okay, second example. This is regarding a bank reconciliation. It says the information below relates to the cash account and ledger of Bob Company. Balance on March 1st was 20,000. Balance at the end of the month, March 31st, was 21,000. During that period, they had cash deposited of 50,000 and checks written of 49,000. The March bank statement shows a balance of 20,000 on March 31st, and they have the following memoranda. They have under credits, they have collection of a 1,500 note plus 20 interest, which would be 1,520. Interest earned on the checking account 40, and for the debits, NSF check for John Jones of 500 and safety deposit box rent of 60. And March 31st, deposits in transit were 4,000, outstanding checks total 2,000. So let's go ahead and prepare the bank summary. And there's the heading for the bank summary. We're starting out with cash balance per bank. So if we look, it tells us right here. The cash balance per the bank was 20,000 on March 31st. Then we're going to add our deposits in transit. Deposits in transit are right here, 4,000. If we add those two together, we get 24,000. Then we're going to subtract outstanding checks. Right here, that's 2,000. 24,000 minus 2,000 is 22,000, which is our adjusted cash balance per bank. Next, we're going to do the cash balance per book. So we're going to start, I should say, with the cash balance per books, which is 21,000. That's listed right here, March 31st balance, 21,000. Then we're going to note the collection of the note receivable, which we have right here, 1,520, and then the interest earned, which is right here, interest earned on the checking account 40. So if we add 1,520 and 40 together, we get 1,560. If we add 21,000 plus 1,560, we get 22,560. Next, we're going to subtract something. So you have to remember to write the add or the less and all these spots also, and use all these same types of entries. NSF check, the first thing we have is the NSF check of 500. That's right here. And then we have the safety deposit box rent right here, 60. So 500 plus 60 is 560. We take 22,560 and subtract 560, we get $22,000. Next, we're preparing the adjusting entries at March 31st, assuming the NSF check was from a customer on account and no interest has been accrued on the note. So the first there, if you notice, it says NO for in the actual problem, so it's the same thing, but you'll notice all the dates are March 31st. The first thing we're going to do is record the cash that we collected from the note receivable, which was 1,500, and then the interest receivable on that note, which was 20. So the total cash collected was 1,520, which we're going to debit. We credit notes receivable and interest receivable for the $1,500 and the $20. And that, of course, was right up here. Next, we're going to debit cash and credit interest revenue for $40. That's right here. That's that interest earned on the checking account for 40. Next, we're going to, for the NSF check, we're going to debit accounts receivable. Remember, it's a receivable test again. When we would have gotten that person's check, we would have credited accounts receivable thinking, okay, we've got that money, we've got the money now, it's no longer owed to us. It's owed to us once again. So we're debiting accounts receivable and crediting cash for that 500. Of course, we're crediting the cash because we really didn't get that cash. It was an insufficient funds check. Last thing we have to do for the safety deposit box, right here, safety deposit box rent for 60. We're going to debit bank charge expense, credit cash for $60. And those are the only examples I have for you. Read the questions carefully again. Make sure you look at mini lecture 7. You will find examples for 2 of the exam questions. Most of the exam questions, review the homework, review the exams. There's either the same exact question or a similar question to the final exam. And there might be 1 or 2 that they really aren't, but if you just click on that e-text and you will find it. Good luck, everybody, and you're going to do a wonderful job. Have a wonderful week. If you have questions, feel free to reach out to me. Bye, everybody.